15 minutes, like, you know, see how long it is. See how many people.
See if anybody asks questions. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, so we live now then? It's all streaming.
It says it's redirecting to YouTube. I think we're now live on YouTube, yeah. It's quite surreal.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me on this mic?
No, you sound fine.
Okay. Now I've put the mic on because I get a lot of complaints about my voice not being heard properly on my shows.
You sound really loud.
Oh, that's all right then. Well, I am very, you know.
Wow.
Okay. Every time I hear myself, I sound too loud, so I keep the volume low.
No, you sound fine.
I think we're now live on YouTube. Yeah?
We are. We're live on YouTube.
It's quite surreal.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're definitely live on YouTube.
Can you hear me on this mic?
It's a bit weird. There's a bit of a glitch. There's some sort of glitch. 42 people watching.
You sound fine.
Break. Now I've put the mic on because I get.
This is yeah, we've got people here. We've got people in the room. Hello, everybody. This is Alpa Soni. I'm joined by Alpa Soni. And this, no, it says it all sounds good.
You sound really loud.
I'm getting feedback.
Oh, that's all right then.
Give me a sec.
You know.
I think I need to stop. Yeah, here we go. So I've stopped. This is my first live. Everybody watching. Never done a live before in my life on my own channel. So I was just chatting to Alpa, who's a spiritual badass. It all sounds wrong when English people say ass.
Badass.
Badass.
It just sounds a bit badass.
You've got a badass. It's just wrong.
Well, I wanted spiritual gangster first, but that's been taken.
Yeah, well, most gangster things have been taken. Anyway, look, we were just having a chat, and I had this urge. I've had this urge to do a YouTube live in a while, and I thought, hey, no, I'll just work it out. Do you fancy going live, Alpa? And she went, yeah. What now? Yeah, let's do it.
Well, my last live with Charlie had to go out. So if people were watching that, anyone that was watching that last Sunday, I had to walk out of that one because I just suddenly started feeling really nauseous. So that was my first live. But yeah, no, I was up for it. Spontaneity is the key.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments here while you're chatting. And
what they say?
It says, Mark, you bring out the singer in everyone. Actually, I was singing a song to Alpa a minute ago, and I was talking about Alpa, you were saying about like you feel like you're coming home this year, this time, you feel like you're coming home.
Yeah.
You're getting more and more resonant with the frequencies. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And I told you about that song that I learned on ayahuasca, which was, and then I started singing. So I'm going to sing. Fuck it.
Go on, let's do it.
When it goes, it's like Pachamama, I'm coming home to the place where I belong, like that. But I can't sing. But when you're on ayahuasca, you don't give a fuck. So
I really want to try it. Definitely.
I apologize. Well, you know, I think this whole year's been like a whole ayahuasca trip.
Yes, 100%. You're so right, because when I started saying to you earlier on that everything in my life, Mark, makes so much sense, like everything to this point, like even today, I know everyone's having a bit of a hissy fit about what's going on in America because the whole world is watching and everyone's on tender hooks. But I just was out there with a friend, a new friend that I met, and felt really, really positive and like I was meant to do this. You know, everything's making sense to me. And I appreciate there's a lot of different sentiments out there at the moment. But yeah, I feel this is the journey back home, back to self.
It really is. So much so that I helped you put a bet on Trump earlier because
yes.
When the Texas thing happened, Trump yesterday on betfair.com in the UK, if you're in the States, I don't know how it works there or anywhere else, but in the UK, an island, Betfair is like an exchange where it's about and I'm not a gambler, let's get clear on that. I don't bet on horses or anything. I don't do it. But when I do, I win. Whenever I have gambled, I've won. And to me, Trump is the safest bet in history.
Yeah.
And yesterday he was 20-1. Because of what happened in Texas, he shot up to 33-1 today. And we just put a little flutter on at 32-1.
Yeah.
Which means if you put 1,000 on, you get 32,000 back.
I know.
And my logic is this is for the people that are watching. My logic is, if we lose, that means that Trump hasn't won, and if Trump hasn't won, we're all dead anyway. So who cares? We might as well just put the farm.
It was my first time ever doing something like this, so thank you. So I feel really positive. I have this certainty.
You saying thank you for starting my gambling addiction, Mark?
Turning me into a complete gambler, Mark.
I'm
going to blame you. No, but when you told me about it, I was very much like, yep, because it's this certainty. I've never gambled in my life, as in, like, I didn't even know what Betfair was. And, you know, I'm a responsible person. No one has to force me to do these things, but because I believe that he's going to win. I had a bit of a hissy fit with a friend today, and it's the first time I found myself getting irate with the negativity and also that liberal kind of condescending barrage that I've been getting for the last few weeks. And I was just sort of like thought, you know what? I don't need this. This is crazy. I've been really patient for the last sort of 9 months, but now it's that certainty seems to grow and grow and grow every single day. So yeah, and that's why I definitely, went, yep, I'm doing this. I'm in.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, there's nothing to lose. I felt all year like, look, there's just nothing to lose anymore. Let's just get on with it. And
we've got about 122 people on board. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, it's mad. Hello. It's very surreal. I mean, when I do pre-recorded, I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. But when it's live, I'm like, oh shit. I did a live with Charlie Ward today.
Yes.
He was on his private
his book coming out today. Congratulations for that. Mark, you've worked really, really hard.
I have been working my nuts off. So there's not just me, Danusha and Keith Sharp in Australia. We've been a really good team, actually. And then in Charlie's book, Charlie himself, I mean, Charlie's been doing 5 interviews a day, driving 150 miles a day, dropping Justin off to gymnastics and writing his autobiography in a very quick, but it's really good. And we've got a 5-hour, I woke up this morning and he just sent me the 5-hour MP3. That's all we were waiting for. And then that went live, and then I had to fiddle with a load of the stuff.
So the digital ones come out now.
So the ebook and the audiobook are out, because we want to get those out first, simply. And there's a prize draw as well. So we're also publishing a really posh version of it because he wants a special one to give out to his best friends, family. So we're going to get him to sign one of those and give that away to somebody, whoever goes to this. I can't remember. I'mJustCharlie.com.
Yeah, I love the name, by the way. I'm Just Charlie.
I wanted to call it a proper Charlie because that's kind of an English thing, but he said, I'm just Charlie, because he says that pretty much every day.
I'm just Charlie.
I mean, basically, Charlie is catchphrase heaven, isn't he?
Oh, he's done really, really well. And I mean, how this book has come about, I mean, this last few months, it's just been a real roller coaster, and good for him for doing this, and good for you.
Well,
he's been instrumental.
It's about being in flow, right? So, you and me connected, me and JCK, me and Charlie, me and Lee Hemmington. And it's like this whole new family.
Yes.
Of really high functioning people.
And spiritually attuned people.
Well, people that are awake, see the truth, and aren't afraid to tell people.
Yeah.
And are really down to earth and really grounded. There's no bullshit. There's no nonsense. It's just
graces.
And it's real. I didn't realize how profoundly it would affect and change my life.
It's changed my life. It's changed me for who I am as a person, for the better for sure. Feeling stronger, more like, as you know, I used to feel really anxious about doing all these shows all the time. And as I'm evolving on a global stage, this is like something that was this impetus in me to come out and scream about the things that, this truth and the things that we've discovered this year, but all without that sense of like fear. I mean, I did get nervous initially, but now look at us, we're speaking, few shows in. It was never about getting a channel done, but that's how it's transpired. And it's a platform for our voice to say, no, we're not going to sort of subordinate. We're not going to subordinate to the tyranny that we've been going through. We're going to speak up. And the amount of people that message me, it's just beautiful. I've got people writing me poems, some really sweet things that, I mean, I haven't got a chance to respond to everybody because it'll be like a full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
There's hundreds of messages I get every single day, and you know, I feel like I should be doing a little bit more now, for sure.
Well, you're doing amazing stuff, and everybody that I see, I've got amazing people coming on. I've just had Mel K on. I've got Galactic Greg on next week. I can't even remember actually. This is just amazing people, and that in and of itself is such a privilege, because you do spend a lot of time when you're on a spiritual awakening, or you go through hell basically when you go through a spiritual awakening. It's basically like, it's like, I wish I had a rubber chicken here. It's like God's going like, had enough. Had enough. No. And then you just keep going. And eventually, somehow, you're like, shit, everything's different. What am I going to do now? Oh, you know. And then you start, well, the psychic shit happens. And you start having visions and dreams. You're like, what? It's good. Oh, Jesus, this is weird. Am I a weirdo? What the fuck? And then, you think it's just you, and it's not just you. It's millions of other people going through. But
you've gone through your life feeling really different and feeling. And I'm a highly sensitive person. Like, I can really pick up people's emotions, and then you come across all these terminologies like empaths and light workers and spiritual awakening, and you have this inner sense and inner knowing, but now there are all these labels. However, whatever it is, there is a different sense in the frequency, you know, that we operate in. And who would have thought that this would have been something that was going to help humanity in assisting this awakening further down the line? So a lot of people, like I always say, crisis can turn into be your blessing, you know, in the future.
It's built into common sense. I got brought up on common sense, and every cloud has a silver lining, and all of those sort of sayings that my nan used to say to me, and I'd be like, I'd tut them. My kids now tut at me when I come out with these things. And, you know, I think that's also why Charlie's been really important in this, I don't know if you call it a movement or what, but it's like
the movement. It's the awakening movement. It's people that have come together to say, hang on a minute, and feel fearless in speaking about this truth and bad things that have been happening on the planet and talking about it. And we've had the platform for the first time in history to do it.
Well, I've got a flashback there to, you know, I was a public speaker, and as you know, I've written a couple of books on internet marketing and done some courses, and I did an event in London. I think it was in 2014, and at the end of the event, I had my DVD set for sale, and there was a queue of people, and this beautiful woman called Angela, who was she just stood there and smiled at me, and then she saw us fly. And it's because I'm surrounded by, I'm never too far from a fruit. I'm never too far from a fruit fly. Shall I juggle? I can't juggle. I'll try. See, all around
there. Sage around you.
You don't need to sage me. I'm good. Yeah. So yeah, and she stood there, and there was an amazing thing, because I think I mentioned on stage that day that I was like a massive fan of Harold Pinter, and I'd done Harold Pinter plays when I had a theatre company 25 years ago. Anyway, she stood and held my hand, and she just held it for like it felt like 20 minutes, and was just looking at me smiling, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? And she said, Harold's here.
Wow.
I went, Harold's here? She said, and he loves you.
Oh.
And I said, who are you? She said, I was his personal assistant for 30 years. She's the one who actually typed the plays. He dictated them to her. And she's a wonderful woman. But she said to me, she was the first person really that I'd met who knew what was going on in the world. And I'd mentioned a few things on the stage just to see because I couldn't help it, right? And then anybody that would listen to me in the bar, I'd spill all the beans, and they'd all think I was nuts. And she said, and then we became friends on Facebook, and I was pumping this stuff out on Facebook about satanic ritual abuse, about the Kabbalah.
How long ago was this?
This was 6 years ago.
6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I happened, unfortunately, fortunately, whichever way you look at it, I happen to know a huge amount about the paedophilia side of things, and I was so incensed by it, and I got very, and one day I'll tell the full story, but I got very, very close to the devil when I was going down that road. That's all I'll say about that now. The rest I'll after the ascension, if I survive it. And she said to me, you know, aren't you scared? You know, you're putting this stuff up. And I was like, scared? What am I scared of? And she said, well, you know, they've got you pegged. They've got you, they know who you are. They're going to, and then I went, well, my earliest memory is demons trying to recruit me. And I resigned from the Royal Air Force. So I think they've had me pegged for a very long time. And I don't care.
That's just it.
But that was a level way different to this year. Because this year it was like, got to do this.
Yeah, but it's insane. And the thing with what you've just said is that if you don't live in that fear, they can't touch you because you're not giving consent. But the fear is their food. And it took me a long time, and maybe one day I'll speak about this, because with my kind of experiences with understanding all this satanic stuff and this demonic energies and archonic energies that permeated society at every single level, is that where our consciousness, 90% of our conscious is the subconscious mind. And if it's living in fear, well, and you don't consciously realize that. So if in your subconscious, you're living in fear, but you know, that 10% you're thinking, yeah, I'm great. I've got all my shit sorted out. Everything's great. But you're still attracting that sort of demonic negative energy. It's feeding off that 90% subconscious fear that you don't even realize that you have from inner wounds. So I think the situations that I've had in the past where I'm like, yeah, I'm so positive and I'm like, you know, optimistic about things, but then suddenly, why have I kind of come face to face with this demonic stuff, you know? And this year has, all of that stuff has made sense for me. Everything has made sense. And the more you empower yourself and the more that you're within your sort of sovereignty and your sovereign light, and you do not give permission and you do not give consent, miracles can start happening, because we are sovereign beings of light. We are sovereign beings of light. And when we can see this, and it's all like this movie unfolding, Mark, and it's brilliant. I mean, there's background music going on in my head every single day. I bet you've got it. You've got it as well.
I have. And
mine's Game of Thrones.
It's like, I was with the kids today, and then I suddenly come out with a line, like I'm in the middle of a song, and I just burst out a line, and then, oh, did I just do that out loud? And it's like, it's really, really funny.
So let's check in with what people are saying hello to everyone.
Oh. Yeah, can you see you can't see the comments, can you?
I can, because I've got it on my phone here. So
okay. So was that, well, somebody earlier on said about the number 7 being amazing at the moment. And today there was a really funny thing about Charlie Ward's MP3, because when he sent it over, I had to check the size of it to make sure it fitted onto the site. And it was 7, hang on, get the figures right, 707.7 megabytes, or 707.
Divinity. So that's 777. That's divine intervention.
Yeah, it was, and I was just like, wow, this is.
So 77 is divinity. 17th letter of the alphabet is what? So I used to see 717, but you've seen 777. So that's just, I used to see that all the time at the start of this journey, right at the beginning of this year, 777, 777, all at the time. So 717 and 777, and it just represents divinity and divine intervention. Yeah,
and it feels to me like God's been knocking on my head, like the rubber chicken, just knocking on my head for so long. And all of my life has been like, all right, I know I've got a big job to do one day, but can I just cram in as much fun as I can now before I have to get to that point? And it is. I mean, the emails and messages I get. And by the way, if anybody emails and messages me and I don't reply, I'm really sorry. I literally
me too.
thousands a day. And you know, I had a very strong thing 3 months ago where I just had to cut loads of people out of my life. And you know, people that I liked as well. It was like I had no choice, and it was like, I'm starting this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this I've got a business, I've got 5 kids, but I'm still doing this, and it's you know, my first time on YouTube was actually in 2006, I think.
Yeah, I saw some of your old videos. You're good.
It was, but I was doing it for business, right? Yeah. So I did, you know, back then. I was one of the first people to realize YouTube was a search engine. So I had a skip hire business, and you can find a video of me looking very fat and hungover in front of a load of skips saying, here's a 7-yard skip. It's this big, it's this wide. Thanks a lot. See you later. And and those videos actually made millions of pounds. I mean, millions.
Wow.
That business did a lot of money. But I never felt that comfortable with it, and it was always my ego, and I was like, who the fuck am I to say anything to anybody?
Yeah.
I am very knowledgeable about a lot of things, but there's always
you are
that thing where you don't, and also I was in digital marketing, internet marketing, and it's full of shysters, right? And it's full of people saying, I'll make you rich in a day, and people hand over their money, and I was like, I don't want to be tarred with that brush. But then something really profound happened to me. I employed a kid who was a psychopath. He thought he was some sort of genius, and he basically came in and said he wanted half the business one day. And we said, well, what do you mean half the business? Because he was getting paid to do work, but he was working mainly on his own projects, and it was really annoying working with him. And then he walked out of that meeting room crying his eyes out, and which wasn't pleasant for anybody. But then he ran a hate campaign against me.
Wow.
Online. And it was full of lies, and he had my email. He emailed everybody I knew and told them a load of bollocks. I mean, and it was like, I look back on it now and I think, that was to prepare me for this.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck what anybody says about me now.
Yeah.
I don't care who comes out the closet. I've done absolutely nothing worse than anybody else on the planet in my past, and I've got a story to tell. So
I think that's this your story and my story are very similar, but different in our own sort of context. And it's going to inspire people to sort of be their own powerhouse, Mark, to speak up within their own sort of nuclear units and standing up to their truth. Because that thing you said about confidence, cutting people out, friends, we're all operating at different frequencies, Mark. I find it really difficult now to sort of be the same that I was with childhood friends, for example. We're all operating on different frequencies. Some you might have to cut out, some that may come along on this journey with you. Some of my friends are waking up. There's just all sorts of things going on, but we need to continue. Don't you think there's no going back from this? You cannot go back. Once you wake up, sometimes I have had days where I'm like, oh my God, it's just a bit overwhelming. But there is this like innate sense of confidence that there's no going back, but we're walking towards or running towards now as things are speeding up to such good times. And I do feel even though what's been going on in America today, it just doesn't hit me with pessimism.
Oh God, no. I mean, I'm full of, this is 5D chess. I've written about my poems. I understand it. I visualized it. I can see.
Your poems are really good, by the way.
Thank you.
Everyone give him an applause. I think your poems are really good. They're brilliant. I was like, what?
Yeah, well, I think there's another one brewing, but
and the chat with Mel K. I sent you a message earlier on today as well. That was really good.
Well,
really good.
It's impossible not to do a good chat with Mel K. She's incredible.
Yeah, man, that knowledge.
I mean,
yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking.
Like, can I say something about that? Because she's like bang, 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 and she's like Lois Lane. She's incredible.
Yeah.
And she's. I mean, what I'm finding with everybody in this sort of fraternity is that it's like God speaks through people, and has chosen such varied personalities to do whatever. And I'm not, if you're watching this and going, oh, Mark says he's the voice of God. No, I'm not. I'm just saying we are all fractals of God, and some of us have certain abilities, and there's a reason why you get chosen to do certain things, whether that's, becoming a nurse or becoming a pilot or becoming a teacher, whatever. We're all, good at stuff. And, you can't, I think this is all about this new sort of breed of people. Do you remember when Charlie were doing videos and they were being accused of hopium?
Yeah.
And I remember looking at all the negativity around that. And I was like, well, what is wrong with giving people hope? Because the other thing is that we create our own reality. So we are so used to having shit pumped into us so that we create a shit reality
Yeah.
When we get good stuff pumped into us, we don't trust it.
Yeah.
And then we look for reasons to mistrust that person.
Exactly.
So then,
exactly.
you know, like Charlie had all that shit about the King of England and his doctorate and all of this stuff. And it's like, none of that matters.
No, I was getting so many messages about that. It's like when I had done 2 shows with Charlie by that point, or 2 or 3, and a round table, and then suddenly I'm supposed to like be speaking about Charlie and this whole King story. I mean, it's the drama that we've been used to with all this reality TV over the years, that people want to focus on the negative. You know, one of the things I said to you earlier on is that there is false flattery, and then there's appreciation. Like learning to appreciate people with a sense of sweetness, rather than ridiculing them or condemning people just for the sake of it, because that's what we've been doing for all these years. You know, the trolling on social media. The first thing, if something doesn't go, somebody says something that they don't agree with, rather than gracefully walking away and thinking, okay, well, it's not for me, the need to kind of ridicule people is just, what does that say about you inside? I mean, you can make constructive criticism, you don't have to agree with people, but going down sort of that nasty lane, which is what we want to change through these kind of non-manicured shows. I mean, I got berated on my one of my shows yesterday from one person saying, I hate Asians, right? Who is this person, Alpa and Tiana? You know, I think he's on now as well on the show here. Like, who the hell is this Alpa, right?
What, somebody's on our chat now. So
well, there was, yeah. Like, I don't think so. I'm not sure if I'm not sure who it. Maybe I could be wrong.
Just asked me if I've eaten a meat pie. I don't understand that joke, whoever you are. Happy face man. See, well, I don't understand why people don't use their actual names. Do you know what I mean, Alpa?
Yeah.
Use your name. You big pussy.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that, but it was somebody, it was somebody saying, making sort of some kind of weird remarks. The thing is, though, I just smile and I think, oh, bless you, get well soon.
Well, it is, I don't know, what are they? Demonically possessed? Are they human? Are they robots? What are they? I don't know.
And, if you are being sweet and nice to somebody, yeah, don't get me wrong, like I'm all about giving constructive criticism to someone if it's needed, not just to sort of blow smoke up people's asses for the sake of it. But I generally appreciate people like yourself. Mark, you're saying 5 years. And put it in perspective, I'm a newbie to all of this. And I really realized how cocooned I was to all of this conspiracy theories. I didn't watch much TV. I didn't watch the news. I barely watched any Netflix or TV series over the last sort of 10 years, only a handful. And I was just listening to a lot of I was in my own bubble, listening to my own sort of music. Indian music, like spiritual music, and I was following a lot of the spiritual channels, and it was really weird because I couldn't talk about it with anyone. Now I can talk about it with so many people, but like sort of synchronicities, numerology, astrology, sacred geometry, these were the things I was gravitating towards. And I don't claim to be an expert in any of it, but you'll understand this or understand this. It just made sense and it just felt right. So I went through 10 years of not like being able to converse with anyone like the way we speak. And it's like, yeah, you just get it. Like Mark's just going to get it. It's just like a normal sort of conversation, and it's this language of its own, but it is so refreshing. And that's why I was saying to you, Mark, I feel I'm coming home. Like I'm meeting my soul tribe. I'm meeting the most amazing people. I wasn't the most politically astute with what was going on like in the UK, let alone America. And now I just love Trump, and I can, I'm really following what's going on politically there to the best of my ability. But, when you actually step back and think and pinch yourself and say, wow, I'm living like this is epic what we're witnessing. It may not feel like it for a lot of people, but that's if you're like in the fear porn, if you're fearful, it's not going to be a great journey.
Well, this is why you were chosen, I think, because it's very important that there are a lot of people that have woken up because of this year, because of the pandemic and everything. And, they need somebody to relate to. Also, you've got a particular community that is rigid and that needs a leader like you, which is why you're there as well. I don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, I wrote a few poems and I'm a bloke in a kitchen, but, there's middle-aged men that need to relate to it as well. And it's all about that relatability, and we've all got these different abilities within that sphere, and
Exactly.
and it feels like a real privilege to do it.
Absolutely. It does. And it doesn't matter the length of time or how long we've been in it or not been in it, but it's what we can contribute. We're collectively together in this, and that sense of unity consciousness is what we're trying to elevate ourselves towards. And there's no kind of I'm better than you or you better than me type thing. I feel the sort of our tribe that we've kind of connected with is to lift us up and help each other. I get that real sense from you, Mark, where you assist me and help me sort of bring out the best. That's what it's about, bringing out the best in people. Yeah, and having a laugh while you're doing it.
Look, you've got to have a laugh, because if you don't have a laugh, you go insane. And also, because I've been battling demons for 50 years, I know they hate it. So you must have a laugh. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do this live is because we were talking about you said in our chat about people freaking out about the Texas thing with Trump, and that's why his odds went up on Betfair, and all of this, like the vaccine. I mean, for God's sake, all of this stuff is only scary if you buy into the narrative on the mainstream media. If you don't even pay any attention to the mainstream media, none of this bothers you, because you don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
And I live in a completely different world to most of the. I've been in town today, and everybody's in masks, and I'm like, oh Jesus, really? I just went and got some chips, pie, whoever that fucker was, and there are people stood inside with these masks on like that, and I'm like, okay, I'm with my daughter. I've got to be like, she's like, Dada, don't say anything, embarrassing. And I'm like, yeah, but look at them, trying to have compassion, and this is the other thing, right? We look at the people that we saw as spiritual leaders over the last 30, 40 years. Oprah Winfrey, Deepak Chopra, right? There's two names that come to mind.
Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa.
I know a guy who made a documentary with the Dalai Lama, and he's a lovely, lovely guy. And he was going, the Dalai Lama's so this and that and the other. And I was like, I get a really bad feeling about this Dalai Lama. And I couldn't tell him. And you can't tell people. It's like the Pope. I've always hated the popes. The popes are obviously paedophiles. It's fucking obvious, right? But you can't say that to a Catholic, because they'll go mental at you. But then you show them a video of the church shaped like a fucking snake's head in the Vatican, with that art behind the Pope. It looks like a load of souls desperately trying to get out of hell. What? And then you can go find videos of them singing in Latin, "Hail Lucifer." For fuck's sake, how can you still be in their mindset? All of us have just got to crack it. I just want to crack everybody over the head. And I'm wondering whether this 21st of December, I get loads of messages from people saying new codes are coming in, sun flashed, Palladians, and all of this. And I'm like, I'm not sure. I think it's about us.
It's all about us.
It's all about us and inside, and different changes are happening within us already. And it's like this date and the planetary alignment and everything else is all very interesting and definitely powerful, and there's a lot to it. But I honestly don't know what it's going to look like, and I honestly don't know. I've been asking myself what is 5D like for a very long time, for maybe 9-10 years, right? Since I first heard of the concepts of going into 5D. Did loads of and I thought, I was like, does that mean we die? What does it mean? It just means we're vibrating at a different frequency.
Exactly.
And our DNA.
The experience that we have internally through the different time, space, and dimensions. And what you were saying about the spiritual leaders, you made some really good points, because this is how it's all been orchestrated. It's been designed to keep us at this false sense of security towards these kind of spiritual leaders as the authorities in this field of spirituality. And they've zapped our ability to tune in to our higher selves. And that essentially for me is what it is. I come from the Hinduism culture, the Hindu culture, and religion wasn't really thrown at me, and I wasn't forced upon me. However, I found my own way with it. I always questioned everything, and my parents couldn't teach me the do's and don'ts. They just told me what they got taught. So it didn't align with me. So I found my own way in this. And with that, I had an aptitude for homing into my intuition. So, you know, when something doesn't smell right and you ignore it, but thereafter you realize, oh God, I wish I trusted my gut. We've all got that superpower, and we've been taught to look outside rather than inside. And I have so many people writing to me because I speak about this a lot. And you're absolutely right, Mark. It's the journey home within. And are we going to expect some crazy episode that happens on the 21st? No, I don't think so. There's going to be a change in frequency, and people are elevating. They're starting to feel different. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening from an astrological and planetary alignment. So we'll feel the energies, but aren't we feeling energies now? We're feeling all sorts of energies every single day. And I think rather than aligning to these spiritual gurus or anyone for that matter, you can take nuggets of wisdom from everyone. Yeah, you can take nuggets of wisdom, but I don't like this kind of concentrated one person fits all type of vibe where, you know, the Dalai Lama knows everything. These are people that were supposed to give us a balanced approach about spirituality, and we listen to them. But the issue is people then just that make them that person God. Yeah, and they aren't, you know, God. And now look what we found out about them, and it's heartbreaking. But this is all the more reason why people need to go inside.
I did a video a few months ago saying you are the leader that you are looking for, and one of the theme that I think is going through all the stuff, all the people that I'm resonating with is exactly this. You know, be sovereign, be your own boss, be responsible for your health, your wealth, your welfare, and everything. And that is kind of second nature to me. Me and Charlie Ward were talking about that earlier, where we were in our 20s, and he got dumped by his parents, so he fell out with his parents. And my dad had died when I was 17, and I had nowhere to go, and I had nobody to fall on. I had no money anywhere, no family really to fall back on, and you know, I had no choice. I just had to start creating my own success and my own future, my own life, and that was great because I just went and did whatever I wanted to do.
And you're very young, 17. The number 17, like if you think about that.
Yeah, the 17 pops up a lot. And I think it was Mark Devlin I was watching a few months ago, and he talked about his birthday adding up to 17.
Yeah.
I was driving in the car going, oh yeah, his birthday adds up to 17. And I was like, hang on, 13th of April, 1304. Fuck, mine adds up to 17 as well. I was like, this is too weird. And my first son's born on the 17th of the 7th. And it's like,
wow.
And these numbers.
17.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
These numbers have been, I wrote a blog post called Synchronicity and the Caterpillar. I think that was about 6 years ago, because I was just getting bombarded with numbers. And I got this download to write a book called Life is Easy. So as a marketer, as I normally do, I just went, right, let's get loads of things done, set the website and everything else. And I started putting it together, and I was putting up memes saying, turn off the TV, eat organic food, stand on the grass, ground yourself. And I was doing all this 6-7 years ago. And then I got pommeled, absolutely pommeled. But because then I still didn't recognize the demonic attacks. A similar thing happened a few years later in Marrakesh. I did a talk on the law of attraction above this fantastic organic cafe. There was a room upstairs, and it was packed. It was like 200 people in this little room, and I was dripping with sweat because it was like 45 degrees. And I was doing this talk, and it was really difficult. The energy in the room was really difficult, and there were some guys in the room who were giving me the evil eye. I don't know if you know about the evil eye.
Of course I do. Yeah.
I got that in Marrakesh so many times. It was like the whole time I was there was like this test of spiritual existence. And
big in Marrakesh, all of that stuff, you know, huge.
Yeah.
That's why they have that evil eye stuff everywhere and the hand of Fatima.
Yeah. It's real stuff. It's real.
I went to Marrakesh a few years back in 2013, I think, and I just felt this energy there. And everywhere you go, they're selling the evil eye in the hand of Fatima. I wonder why. And like it's same in Turkey. There's so much of that rubbish that happens, you know, that energy, that negative energy. We've got, oh my gosh, we've got 300 people now.
Oh, wow. Hello, 300 people. How are you?
Almost, yeah.
But including us, there's 302.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's you know, this whole demonic thing is totally real.
Yeah.
And
I know that for a fact, for sure.
But when I came out and said it on YouTube 4 months ago, I think it was.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, oh fuck, did I actually say that out loud?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's my business gone. That's everything gone. My kids,
Yeah.
dad's a nutter. Oh, Jesus. But extraordinary.
The response, yeah, because you've paved a way for people to feel comfortable speaking about it, because it's considered taboo, Mark, and it's considered to be woohoo. And like the amount of people that think I'm a nut job right now with everything that I'm posting about, like Trump and this, the kids and this, and then I understand all this demonic stuff. I get it, because it's literally, it is dark to light, light and dark. There's two energies that have been permeating in humanity and earth for the last few years, and its majority of it's been dark energies, dark entities that have been ruling the world. Satan's been ruling the world, luciferic energies.
I never buy the papers, right? But every time I go into the little local shop, I stand there for about a minute just scanning the headlines. And I bought this one the other day, which is the Daily Star in Ireland, right?
She wasn't my mum. She
wasn't my mum. She was a witch. That's the headline. Above that, black magic.
Wow.
Magic rant. Above that, he'll be pog gone. Hell, right? It's all there. It's, if you actually, once you see through it, we'll always.
Oh, I've just got goosebumps.
Yeah. And then it's all about John Lennon, the day the music died. And if you know about Paul McCartney, and you know about all the Satanism around.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
McCartney, the replacement McCartney, according to the JC video that she did with Richard Balducci, was the son of Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley is one of the chief architects of a lot of the evil that we've been through in the last.
Yes.
It's all there. You know, I think he was also.
And that's today's paper.
No, just a couple of days ago. I've just got it out.
Yeah, but like just in the last week or so.
It's like this book, Old Moore's Almanac 2021. This sold out in the local shop in a day. I thought I'll grab it because I want to read the predictions. Because lovely woman in the shop, she said, well, it's all come true because they predicted the virus. And I was like, well, of course they predicted the virus because they fucking planned it. But you know, there's stuff in here like, oh, this is really good actually. Do you chat a second while I find this? Oh, that's right. Yes, so there's a psychic bit in here where they're talking to a interview.
Yes, Dolly Daydream 17 equals 8 affinity. That's correct. Hello, Mark Warmers. Hello from SA. Hello, Mark.
Hello, everybody.
Hello from Canada, Doreen. Hello, Doreen from Canada. Monica, she's from Ohio. Okay. Yep, Dolly Daydream's talking about the dark magic. I like that name, Dolly Daydream.
Dolly's been on my channel. She's cool. So there's no sudden end to the pandemic, but with vaccines and better treatment, life slowly returns to normal in 2021. And in the same almanac, it says that the psychic who predicted last year that Trump would not win a second term, she was good. She was good on that. She was right. And you know, and it's just all programming. All programming. This is all mainstream media. All of this shit, just throw it away, you know?
Yeah.
It's very liberating when you do that and then go and burn it. Because these are magic spells. What they pump out through the TV, it's spells. They're using it all the time. All of us have the ability to break free of it. Problem is, you don't know you're in it when you're in it.
Because it's so interwoven so deeply, Mark, and spellings. I mean, the energy that permeates from that broadcast, the broadcast that they watch on the news, it's casting the spells, you know, the words, that it's all these things that are interwoven. And when you're not privy to this knowledge, or you just have your eyes closed to it, you're so easily susceptible to being hypnotized by all of this. And in that narrative of, you know, reading the tabloid garbage, if you're doing that, you're just like, literally, it's consuming junk food. It's like consuming junk reading. Even the pompous establishments, the Guardian and the Financial Times and the Independent, oh my God, there was a point where I thought the Times, I mean, I don't read any newspapers. I haven't for 10 years. Yeah. And just couldn't have focused on reading any of them. They used to bore me. I wasn't interested. But they're just so bad. They're just done slightly in a little bit of a posher way. But
well, I worked at the Daily Telegraph in 1990 in Canary Wharf, and God, looking back on it, it was exactly when Lockerbie happened. I was in the office next to Max Hastings, who was the editor, when the Lockerbie thing happened, and the guy opposite me had to get on a helicopter and go and report on it. The way that they controlled information in there was all compartmentalized. You know, so the journalists would all be keen, because they're working at this massive paper, so they'd be writing all this great stuff, and then it would be like the sub-editor, they'd be in the bar, absolute alcoholics, all of them, because they're all getting tons of money, separated from their families, mainly working really weird hours, and everything they wrote got changed because it went up to the next department, which was the sub-editor department, and if some of their words got through, they had a celebration.
Yeah.
So they were like doing all and I saw this, and I was like, this is why I couldn't be a journalist. I had to stop doing it. That's why I became a publisher instead.
It's so restricted. You can't write about anything that you want to. It has to all be like.
Well, when you sort of think about hypnotism, there's a very clear moment. I came in one day, and all the kids were in the playroom watching this big telly that I'd bought, and I walked in. I said, "Hi, kids." And I walked past them, and I was walking in front. They literally couldn't see me. And I was like, this has to stop. And I think it was all to do with the digital changeover that Tony Blair brought in. And when he brought that shit at 322 watching, I'm seeing 322 all the time.
Yeah, I just saw that.
22nd of March is a big number for me. So Tony Blair, and I remember when Blair was in, and suddenly you saw these towers popping up all over Britain. And it's like the chemtrails and stuff. You say to people, that's a chemtrail. And I have arguments with people who've got physics degrees and everything, saying, no, it's this, it's that, it's the other. It's not, it's fucking chemicals. Anyway, got rid of the TV license. And then it was only a matter of time before they come to the door. And I've told this story on my channel, but I'm going to tell it again. One of the biggest moments for me standing in my sovereignty was I was inspired by my friend Matt Campbell, who's also been on my channel. His brother Jeff died in 9/11. We talked about that on here. Go and look for it. It's a really great chat. And Matt had seen this guy called Tony Rourke, who ended up making a film about 9/11 called Incontrovertible, which is a really, really good film that he made specifically for firemen and policemen and people in his armed forces, because he realized that if we can wake them up, then we can solve the problems of the world. And Tony had been taken to court in Brighton, I think it was, for not paying his TV license. Anybody that is in the US or somewhere in the UK and the islands, they have a license where if you own a TV, you have to pay 150 quid a year or something, because you're funding. What cracks me up about the TV license is that you're paying to be brainwashed. Not only do they brainwash you, they make you pay for it.
Bullshit broadcasting, that's what I call them.
British Brainwashing Corporation.
Bullshit broadcasting corporation.
Everybody should stop paying their TV license, cancel Netflix, paedophile supporting Netflix, get rid of it all, right? But big moment for me, and this guy he kind of won this court case about his TV license because they threatened to put you to prison if you don't pay it.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is Britain is a corporation. According to Charlie, not anymore. It stopped the other day. The corporation's over. It's done. I don't know much more than that, but it was a corporation, so they run it as a business. Yeah. So when they charge you this stuff like licenses and fines and all of that, it's a business model, right? If it costs them money to arrest you, try you, put you in prison, it costs them loads of money. They don't really want to do that because that means they're making a loss on you. So they do it with fear. Oh, I'll pay. You capitulate, you pay. Oh, just like my mum says on this channel, just do anything for an easy life. I don't want to cause any trouble. I don't want to, because nobody wants to be hassled. So, I've often said that the world is run on red ink. Yep. Because red ink gets most of the money. Red ink pulls in most of the money that the Illuminati, just by printing a letter that's in red. And that's all it takes.
Yeah, but it's psychological warfare that they do, and it's the manipulation tactics, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'd watched a few videos. No, I watched this guy, Tony, and he got away with his license on a technicality. And the technicality was that in the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2006, I think it was, subsection 16, don't quote me on either of these, I might be wrong. It said that if you knowingly give money, 333 watching, see that?
Yeah, I know. Just thought that too. Snap.
See, I can talk, tell a story, hold that. This is like flying a plane.
Always in the peripheral.
Yeah, in the subsection 16, it said if you knowingly give money to an organization that is actively supporting terrorism, then you will go to prison. You're breaking the law. So he said, well, the BBC reported on Trade Center 7 collapsing 20 minutes before it actually collapsed. Therefore, they were part of a cover-up for a terrorist act. Therefore, they're involved with terrorism. Therefore, they're supporting terrorism. Therefore, if I pay my license, I'm breaking that law.
Yeah.
And the judge was like, does not compute, does not compute. So I was really inspired by this. And so they came to the door and they said, are you Mr. Atwood? And I went, I'm not answering that question. Plus, I'm filming this for YouTube later. And the guy was like, are you Mr. Atwood? Like a robot. And I said, I'm not answering that question. And then I learned this amazing, everybody should learn this line. I said, I revoke your implied right of access to this property. Please leave. And I tell you what,
write that down.
You've got to write it down. When I said it, I was shaking.
Wow.
I was stepping out of the matrix.
Yeah.
And I was standing in my power. And I didn't even know what that phrase meant back then. And I said it to this guy, gulping. Do you know what happened?
He left.
He just walked off.
Yeah. So you're not giving consent. They know this. Well, they know us how far they can go.
Implied rights. That's the implied right of access.
Mm.
And I revoked it. And as soon as I did that, he had to leave. And then I walked out to the car and I said, if I was that person, and I'm not saying that I am, here's the reason why I won't pay the license, because I'd be breaking the law because of subsection 16 of 2006. And I did the whole speech. And he just looked at me and he went,
this is not worth my time. All right, yeah. And I said, but you know there's going to be, but the thing is, imagine when everyone starts doing this.
Well, that's the point. We've all got the power, but I
just want to get it clear about parking tickets. I got a fine the other day.
We collected them for fun. The kids used to peel them off the front of the car and stick them on the fence.
No, I got the congestion charge one. Oh. You know, they're charging 15 quid to 17.50 to go into central London now. From before, it was just from 6 till after 6 till midnight. 6 till the following morning, it would be free. But from Monday to Friday, it was from 8 to 6, you pay congestion charge. So usually in the evenings when I go, it's fine because I always used to leave after. And I forgot to pay. I didn't realize because I don't watch the news. I don't keep up with all of this stuff. So I went, and then I get a fine when I went into central London because I didn't pay. So I'm going to find out how to say the right words for that. If anyone knows.
Yeah, you got it. Everybody should study common law. There's a lot of really good common law guys.
Have you registered your birth certificate with common law?
I went onto the website that Charlie had a guy on 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
I paid money, but I never heard back from them, so I don't know.
My friend just got her common law birth certificate through. Just came through the post now, so there must be a massive backlog.
The guy did say he had a massive backlog, and I'm just yes, I did do that. I haven't had it yet.
Yeah, we did it around because we started off with this little group in March, end of March, called the Freedom Thinkers, and that's what was the first show that I did with Charlie. This group of us were always talking about this, and this came out about the birth certificate. So we all did it back then, so I should get mine soon as well.
Monica Riffles just put up a good thing here. My will is so strong, you have no power over me. My kingdom is as great as it's so great as you have no power over me. And sorry if I've misquoted that, Monica, or either you, or it was either me or you. But that is the thing, right? We have the power.
Yeah.
And it's when you believe it, it becomes a thing of like, you've got to start thinking about it firstly, and then you've got to start believing, but then you get to a point of knowing.
Yeah.
And when you know, Charlie says inner stand. I have a lot of trouble saying words like inner stand. I have to admit, it just sounds a bit, but I know why people say it. I just don't. I
love it though. I absolutely.
I don't know. I'm just really, really trying not to sound like spiritual blah, blah, but
I always used to say this.
I know it's correct. I know it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that personally. It's my personal thing.
It's too weird.
Look, if you see me doing videos saying I understand myself, I said to my kids, if you hear me saying,
it's my favourite word of 2020.
I'm not having a go at you at all. I love you. I love Charlie Freak. I love everyone. It's just me personally.
Yeah.
It's
what we used to, isn't it? And also,
people will shoot me. They will literally shoot me. They have to put up with a lot of. Oh, by the way, I'm in a book. Did I I'll show you this. Remember this.
Let me say hello to some people.
I'm in this
Emily
book.
Rainey.
The Awakening.
The Awakening.
The Awakening.
Oh my God, Mark, we're getting more people.
Edie Panasar, lovely woman.
They're loving your stories.
Are they? Sorry, I've got loads of them.
We love you, Debla. Love you too. Oh, bless you. Such nice people on here, aren't they? I've never done a live like this or checked out, so everyone excuse me.
I cannot believe how wonderful the people are. That, you know, did you see my interviews with my with a guy called Alan Park, the Canadian comedian?
I've got to catch up on your ones.
Alpa, do you know the story behind that? It's really mad.
No.
So when I was first on the Charlie Ward show, I was just telling myself, I didn't know what I was going to say. It just came out, right? And I was saying, well, it was 1999 and I was in a curry house, and you know the Curry Mile in Manchester.
In Manchester?
Yeah, Manchester, sweet man. Right? And we're going for a Ruby Murray curry. You haven't one or what? It was all like that. So I loved Russia, right? I lived there for years. I loved the food, the people. It was brilliant. It was one of my favorite places I ever lived. Anyway, I'm in this curry house. I've just done a comedy gig in the Queen of Hearts down the road. I think you know that pub, Queen of Hearts. Yes. It was really easy to pull in there, wasn't it? Hey? Back in the day. So
I never went. That was all the uni students. I was at the Met. Remember that?
Yeah, well, I was at the same place. Oh, this is weird, guys. Me and Alpa chatted, and then I heard her talk to somebody about doing a business degree in Manchester, and I was like, she went to the same fucking, and you did. She was in exactly the same
townhouse
building as me, but I was there like 50 years earlier than her.
75.
I'm old and she's young. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I was in this curry house. I always want to break into Bernard Manning when I start talking like that. Did you ever see? I've got to do this because I love this. Do you ever see John Thompson do? John Thompson, you know him from Cold Feet?
Mark, you know that's the answer to that. What that's going to be? No. Did I watch TV? No.
I won't do the John Thompson version, but
I'm going to go wasted on me.
Anyway, so I've just done a comedy gig. It wasn't the Queen of Hearts; it was the pub next door, which was called Scruffy Murphy's, right?
Oh yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the comedy club in there was started by my mate Toby, and he's been running it now for about 30 years. And Toby's lovely. And anyway, did this comedy gig, and Alan was this guy from Canada. He'd come over to do. He was quite famous in Canada. Anyway, we got on really well. We had a curry afterwards, and then we were talking about the state of the world and what was going on. We also, because it was Y2K, and everybody was freaking out about the computers all breaking, the world stopping. And then he started telling me about a thing called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. And then I got a copy of that, and I read it, and that was a blueprint for the 20th century. World War I, World War II, World War III. The people are nothing more than cattle. We're going to kill them. We're going to make them think this, that, and the other. We're going to fill them full of poison. I mean, it was a terrifying read. There's loads more to that. I don't really want to get. You go and watch Fall of the Cabal, the sequel, and you can go and watch an episode specifically about that. These protocols go back hundreds of years and were released specifically in 1905 in Russia to create hatred for the Jews, to create division so that they could do the things that they wanted to do with the Nazis and everything else, because all of that is them controlling everything, right?
Well, that's what they've been doing with everything. It's still the same now.
So anyway, right, I get this. So I tell Charlie the story. I read this, and then I started seeing symbols everywhere, and I was really like, whoa, shit, we're in big trouble. This is 1999. We're fucked. You know, these guys are in control of everything, right? Yeah. And wow. You go through this kind of paranoid, and I was like,
what years that is, Mark?
Oh, it's huge, man. So anyway, so I lost touch with Alan. I got married. I had 5 kids. I moved around the world. And then I was telling this story, and then somebody watching my channel or watching that interview sent it to Alan Park, the guy I met 21 years ago. And he said he was lying in bed, and he's been fighting cancer for the last 7 or 8 years, right? very successfully with cannabis oil, and he's still here, and he's an amazing guy, and he's extremely funny. He's on my channel. Go and check out the interviews with Alan Park. They're wonderful. But he said he was lying there, and he was so tired he couldn't actually watch it, so he just put it on, closed his eyes, lying back, going, "I've got a story like that. That sounds like me." And that's how we got in touch. That's why he's on my channel.
Amazing.
It's just cracking.
So Leanne Williams is saying Alan is so awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's God. I hope this medbed stuff is true and everybody just gets cured. And
yeah.
People like Alan become superstars on the comedy world. We need more comedy.
Yeah,
God.
Definitely. But don't you think this journey? I mean, look, some of the things that we've been like learning, the revelations that have happened, they've been really, really like difficult to kind of digest. And I think if we have to keep our sense of humor alive in all of this, and you do a great job. You crack me up, and it's not been the easiest. My funniest one was when I went to watch UJC, and I was just
JC is funny as hell.
She's hilarious. We had such a great show, and we had such a good giggle. But I was just about to go on with JC.
Do you know what? JC will be really pissed off that she's not on this chat, because
I know.
in Australia, see, and I was like, "Well,
I know, bless."
Got the urge, and you were asleep.
Well, Gam said practical lawful dissent. Yes, thank you, Gam. Saying UK Facebook access files to challenge parking tickets, council tax. Yes, but congestion charge. That's the one I want to know. Great show, Alpa Mark. Keep up the great work. Oh, bless. Thank you, Andrew. But yeah, the one that you did with the guy from Abracadabra guy. And you come on with your face mask, and I'm just about to watch you because I wanted to just catch up on stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, there you are, face mask.
Well,
yeah. Humor alive.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you came around my house for dinner, I'd probably turn up in a snorkel outfit just to get.
We've got to do one of these comedy sketches.
Oh, we talked about it before. I'd love to do so.
I'd like to be like the goodness gracious meetup,
Yeah, it's just having a bit of time. We're busy doing this, right? But I would absolutely love to be making some sketch shows.
Comedy sketches, definitely. That comedy for me is the food for my soul, and certain music. We have to keep our wits about us, but our spirit alive, and connect with the people that are like not taking and draining us, but just, adding value to our lives. And how amazing have we connected, even like the people on Facebook that I'm connecting with. It's like my digital family, even though we haven't actually met yet.
I saw it, when Facebook does your memory from a year ago, and I put up the memory said, "My tribe is shrinking, but the quality is getting bigger," right? And this was like, because people were just leaving me left, right, and center. I went to look up some old friends the other day on Facebook, and then I got to their page, and I was like, just see what they were doing. And then I saw this button that said, add friends. Oh, fuck. That means they've defriended me. Shit.
Do you know, I haven't checked that because, I wasn't very active on Facebook, but it's just because they took my Instagram down. But Facebook was good for sharing articles. So like this is really interesting because when I started posting stuff about the kids, it was around May, and I put a picture up before I put anything on Facebook, and I just had my profile picture, not this one that I've got now, but the one before, the one that I have on all my pictures. And all I wrote is I unapologetically stand in my truth. And it was so funny, all these people that I don't even hear from anymore now. Yeah, Alpa, yeah, you stand in your truth. You go, girl. You do all this rah, 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 false placating, like false sort of flattery. You stand in your truth. You make sure you do what you do. You go, girl. And then I started bombing everything about this, bombing stuff about the children. None of those people commented. Because,
weird,
isn't it, right? And they say, you stand in your truth. So I'm standing in my truth, saying stuff.
But don't talk about that.
No, it's just, what's she doing?
They're saying stand in your truth, but as long as it's not that.
Yeah. Well, it's not, as long as it's not talking about, okay, the kids is a conspiracy theory because I just woke up. Oh, hold on. 1 second.
Sorry, have I made you miss a date or something?
No, it's Greg, Galactic Greg. He was the most.
Galactic Greg.
Should we try and see? Shall I get him on? He's
while you're doing that, I'll tell a story because on one day of the week, I get together with a load of men and we go for manly walks and stuff. And they're really amazing guys. They're all awake and they've all suffered hard and all spiritual. And they're just amazing guys, right? I missed the last one because I was too busy trying to get Charlie's book out, which is now, if you're new to this chat, go and have a look at imjustcharlie.com. That's Charlie Ward's autobiography, an audio book. It's out now. You can go there and get it. And it's a really, really good read because that guy's had a life. I thought I had a good life. Jesus, Charlie's is mental. But they were telling me that they got together in the local town. They were going to do this carol singing. And they all got together to sing these carols. And this woman came up to them and said, "Oh, you know you can't sing. You can't sing." And they were like, "Why is that then?" And they were, "It's government guidelines. You can't sing." So they just completely ignored her, started singing. And everybody joined in. They had this whole area. People just took off their masks and started singing. And it was so uplifting listening to him tell me the story about this because I missed it. But this is what it takes, go carol singing. Whatever it is,
carol singing.
Whatever your thing is, if you've got a guitar, go out and play it. Show them, because demons can't do anything with laughter and music. They just can't. They're like, it's like that to them.
Yeah, I know, it's deafening.
Well, I had a healing last week with Janie Lavelle, and she's on Facebook as Sage and Seer. Alpa, you've got to have a chat with her. I don't think you need healing, actually. I've got loads of healing that needs doing. But there was this creature that left me. No, I've still got loads of bad habits. But you're purer than I am.
I'm naive.
I've been at war for so long. I'm going to be like, I need to be rehabilitated when I've finished.
I do think my guardian angels are in rehab at the moment, because after like my sort of 20-year journey, they're like, Alpa, literally, seriously, like, when was she going to get the message? When was she going to wake up? I think my angels are like alcoholics right now. They're just resting. They don't need to like help me out so much because she's finally awake. You can see things.
So I'm really bad at drawing, but I'm going to draw this creature that left my body. And you chit chat. I'm just doing a little drawing.
Hold on, I'm trying to.
So this healing that Janie did was really, really.
Someone's saying put the link to the healer.
It was
so we'll do that.
It was 3 hours, right? And it just disappeared. The time just disappeared. There was a couple of amazing things that happened, but this is such a strange thing to show people, right? But JC, if you're watching this, I'm not copying the idea of drawing demons. I suppose I am actually. I'm copying your idea of drawing demons.
Oh, Anita Conley, sorry, I did Mark and Alpa. Amazing poems. And you two are definitely my go-tos along with Mark Devlin. Oh, thank you, Anita.
Gregory Grove. Oh, sorry, should I say your name?
Love both of you, Randy, Joden. Hello, Randy, Joden. Okay, right, so go and show us your drawing. Sorry, I'm not listening. That's really...
No, you're not. You're very...
Look who's coming on.
Hello.
It's Greg.
Hello, Greg.
I love spontaneity and serendipity. Hi, Greg.
This is like a party. We're having a party. Greg, can you hear? Oh, he's connecting to audio. So, Greg, while you're doing that, I'm in the middle of this story about seeing this demon leave my body. It's bad timing, man. You're right in the middle of it.
I don't think we can hear you.
I don't think... No, we can't hear. Let's have a look. I love it when shit goes wrong on Zoom live chat stuff. It's so much fun.
There he is.
I think it's going to come on in a second. Anyway, guys, watching this, I'm going to show you a picture of exactly what left me, and it had been with me for 50 years. Ready?
Wow.
Now, if you don't like demons, look away. It doesn't actually look like a demon, but it's just very strange. Right? You ready? That. And it was scampered.
I got a bit of a funny feeling with that. So show me that again.
It was like imagine like it's all black and it scampered like a dog, but they had no head and these 4 legs.
Okay, it's like a headless animal.
Yeah, but it was black, pure black.
And that was kind of an attachment to you.
Yeah, and it ran. I saw it run away, right? And it was like, whoa, and it felt so good when it left me. And I knew it had been there for forever. and it's like a shape-shifting thing. So it could
Someone said
become.
it looks like a robotic dog from the Black Mirror.
Well, is this whole Black Mirror thing? That's all part of the magic. Black magic is what it should be called.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'm trying to get.
Greg, you're muted.
I'm trying to ask you on mute.
Oh.
More.
Hey, there we go.
We can hear you now. How are you?
Sorry about that. I'm having some. Fantastic. How are you guys? Hello, Mark.
Nice to meet you, Greg. Properly, sort of.
Nice to meet you, Mark. Yeah.
So I like the spontaneity of this. Mark said, let's do a live. And then I just let me call Greg and then you can come on board.
No, it wasn't the spider, guys. Whoever's saying that, it wasn't the spider. So I'm just reading the chat, or an octopus. Anyway, Greg, what time is it there? Midday?
It is 2:46 p.m.
Having a nice day, or?
I just got out of work, so yeah, it was all right. It wasn't too bad. I'm glad to be out, and nice little surprise to be here with you two. So.
Well, it was totally spontaneous. I said
spontaneity, serendipity, you know, all of that. I love that. So
Yeah.
glad you're on.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to Greg every day recently.
No.
He's a digital soldier, Mark. I speak to him almost every day when I don't get what's going on over there in the States.
Greg, what you're doing on Facebook is like, whoa. It's just like beams of light coming out of my screen. And I just want to thank you for what you're doing, man.
Thank you, good sir. Listen, on the battlefield, fighting for God, fighting for the children, I've never felt more alive and more purposeful and more fired up in my entire existence.
That's what we were saying earlier on.
Yeah, truly coming into my purpose and, you know, rising into my light, and it's just an amazing thing. It's hard to put into words. It's just incredible to be here and to be sharing this grand stage with, you know, just so many amazing souls, and to be connecting with just, you know, so many amazing and wonderful people. So
Right back at you.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He just puts up some amazing posts and kind of made me a bit lazy. I just like catch up with all of Greg's posts. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have an insight what's going on there from someone there. I mean, we're speaking to people from all over the world, but what has it been like today, Greg?
Well, yeah, the whole Texas thing been a bit interesting.
What's your take on all of that?
it's funny because last night I was actually on a Zoom call with our sister Marie Russell.
Yes.
That was an amazing conversation, and towards about the middle of the conversation, my computer started blowing up. Messages were just flying across the screen, and I started getting the inkling. I was like, "Oh, what's going on here? What's going on here?" Looked at my phone. My phone had 900 messages on it. 900 messages on it. I said, "Did the Galactics land? Did they finally land? It finally happened? Like, what's going on?" So I finally looked on my page, and I saw, you know, MSNBC and all these, you know, mainstream media, you know, garbage outlets have just posted that the Supreme Court had rejected, you know, the Texas case. I wasn't at all surprised because I'm not very well versed on the higher echelons of the law. But I do have the common sense to know that the Supreme Court typically doesn't handle treason cases. And that's exactly what we have here. We have a massive case of treason. This is typically something that the Supreme Court will not get involved in. They don't typically dive their hands into this. So we had the narrative. We had it all lined up to go to the Supreme Court. So I was interested to see how that part would play out, but, you know, in the back of my mind, there was always that, you know, they don't handle this. So I was very interested to see how that would play out. And when that happened last night, I wasn't all a bit surprised, especially when I looked into it, and read the Article 2 and Article 3 that they don't handle this. And then you look at the House and the Senate and their role in all of this. It just didn't quite line up for the Supreme Court to handle this. And I want to make it clear too that this move by Trump also shines a light on the corruption of the Supreme Court. Even with his majority now in the Supreme Court, people have to understand that the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, you honestly think the cabal would have left that to chance as well. They have corrupted that at the utmost. So this literally, what this does is this sheds light on the FBI, the CIA, the DOD, the DOJ, even factions of the NSA, the Supreme Court. Every single program, institution, and construct has now been brought into the light as corrupt. So now Trump can go forward with the PEADs, the military tribunals, and the martial law, because Trump didn't spend $2+ trillion on the military for nothing.
Yeah.
So this, and I want to affirm to people that we often forget that Q is a military operation, and it started as a military operation, and it's going to end as a military operation.
It's going back into their hands.
Yeah, it's back into their hands. So people were panicking last night because they got so hung up on that Supreme Court thing. They thought that was going to be it because, we were confident that it could play out that way. And it was possible that it could play out that way. I believe initially, if the Supreme Court found fraud of any kind, they could have labeled the election null and void and could have said, okay, by default, Trump is president, but we're going to investigate further. But the evidence that Trump and the Q team have is all treason. It's literally all treason. It's not just one state. There was a bunch of ballots that shouldn't be there. This is all treason. So the Supreme Court can't touch this. This is beyond their jurisdiction. So it's one thing if it were just fraud, but it's not fraud. And I want people to know that is the narrative that we were professing. The narrative that we were professing is that if they found fraud, we could move forward with the Supreme Court. But if they find treason, they don't have the jurisdiction to handle that.
Then it goes to the military, right?
Then it goes to the military, the PEADs and the military tribunals. So it's important that people understand that, and that this is far from over. This does not stop the ascension journey. Everyone still, it doesn't stop anything. It doesn't change anything. And it's very unfortunate, but we lost some souls last night because people just ended up jumping ship. They just can't take anymore.
I know. There's Mark betting on President Trump winning. I just placed bets on him winning today with Mark.
What cracks me up is that if you actually look at Trump over the last 4 years and with Q, whatever, it's all about laying traps. They're always laying traps and making everybody go this way. And then everybody freaks out when it doesn't go the way they think it's going to go. And then you lose a few souls. But it actually, every time he does it, just makes me laugh because it's so beautiful and so pure genius. The whole thing is just, and I already know the outcome of all of this. So I'm just completely chilled out about it. And that's why it's actually so much fun to watch. Even though it is a war, even though people are suffering, I wish that would end very quickly. Yeah. I really want a swift end because I'm sick to death of the masks and my kids wearing them. But that's not the end of the world compared to the bigger picture right now. And the bigger picture is that amazing things are happening.
Did you see Trump's speech today with the gold curtains in the background?
No.
Did you see that, Greg?
I saw bits of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just driving, so I just noticed that, and he's saying bringing back the gold standard. So that's just confirmation for Nasara, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And the vaccines. He was talking a lot about the vaccines and Pfizer bringing out the vaccines within these 9 months. So
How do you spell Pfizer? Is it FISA?
Yeah, it was FISA.
A little joke there, Alpa.
Oh, sorry. Cha-ching. Tumbleweed.
There's Pfizer and there's Pfizer. I mean, it's all code. It's brilliant.
Yeah, if you say them together, they kind of sound similar. But if you watch that video, Trump clearly says FISA.
Pfizer. Yeah.
There's no on the end of that. It's FISA.
So what? But FIZA, like Pfizer.
FISA.
FISA, Pfizer.
Yeah, that's going to be a big part of the legal thing rather than the company Pfizer.
Yeah. So he's talking about indictments,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Sealed indictments, baby.
Yeah.
And the gold standards. So yeah, and he had gold curtains in the background. It's just so meticulously planned.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
And I feel the people who don't get this are really missing out. Like they're fighting over masks and trying to prove us wrong that he's conceded and he's done this and he's done that, but they're actually missing this greatest movie that will ever be made.
Oh, we've got books, we've got TV series, we've got all sorts of shit coming out the back end of this for years.
God, for years, yeah. Oh my God, movie after movie, because they could literally make a movie based upon every part of this plan, because it's so vast and so complex. It's going to be like one of those 20 box kit series or something like that, that the big thing, with 10 movies in each, because this is so complex and there's so much to it, and it's been going on for a long time.
Very long time.
All of my life, at least.
Yeah.
So whereabouts are you in the States? I can't remember, Greg.
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey, right. So I was speaking to Mel Kay the other day, and she's in New York, and she said it's like a ghost town there.
Yeah, New York is New York is like one of those wild west towns that got abandoned, and all you see is the little haystacks rolling across with the wind, essentially. Yeah, it really got hit hard by this. Unfortunately, I've driven back and forth to New York a couple times during this, and it's really sad. There's just trash thrown everywhere. There's beds. There's literally people's homes are literally thrown onto the highway.
Wow.
It's really sad what it's done to New York.
Wow.
Unfortunately, when you take a metropolis like that is solely based on constant function and never stopping, the city that never sleeps, and when you finally put it to sleep and then try to reactivate it again, it just doesn't work. It's just it all shit hits the fan. It's really sad, and especially the restrictions that they've had in New York. They're nothing compared to what we've had here in New Jersey. I mean, we had it fairly easy compared to New York and other northeastern states. In fact, our governor definitely has Trump and the Q team watching him, because he came out recently a couple weeks ago and he said, well, lockdowns don't work, so we're not doing that ever again. So
Talk about Cuomo.
What was that?
You talking about Cuomo?
No, Cuomo. No, we have Clown Murphy here, Bill Murphy here. I don't know specifically what New York's restrictions still are. I know that here everything is wide open, but we're not allowed to cross state borders. Essentially, the state troopers are at the state borders between here, Pennsylvania, and other neighboring states. And if you want to get through, you have to have, your test results saying that you're negative. And if you don't, they will literally draw their gun.
What?
What?
Tell you to turn back. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. They don't want you crossing. Yeah. So that's going on. But I just found out that the governor of Pennsylvania, Mr. Wolf, has COVID.
Ah.
So we know what that means.
That's COVID code.
COVID code. So people in Pennsylvania are essentially celebrating that today.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of signs that they're putting up all over the state that are saying "bitten by the wolf." He must have bit himself.
few people have come out with COVID this week, haven't they? Ellen
Yeah.
DeGeneres.
Sorry, Alan Degenerate, did you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, somebody's just asked about the website for the place to search your birth certificate tradings. I know I've mentioned it before. I just got to say this because the website I used, it works, and then it stopped working when they got overloaded with people doing it. So I don't know. There is no website, as far as I know, where you can do that anymore.
Yeah, I had one, but then there was misinformation about this. Well, you type in your national insurance number, which is this gmeiutility.com, and you type in your national insurance number or social security number, and it can show you where your birth certificate's traded, and that's what I got told. And I remember I mentioned it on one of Charlie's shows, and the amount of emails I got, I didn't claim that that's actually accurate. I don't know what it meant, but it came to my attention, so I shared it in my earlier days. And you can actually see where you are sold. Some people say that it's the coding, so you can type in any number on that and it will give you a different trades. And I tried that and it didn't work. It actually only worked with people's social security number or the national insurance number. But again, what it means, I don't know. Does it mean anything? I don't know, you know.
I'm pretty sure it did. I know I did it on my number and a couple of others, and it was different numbers. And, you know.
Yeah, but it's saying it's picking up kind of, it's a bit like algorithms. It picks up some of those numbers and then it sort of aligns them with those trades. So then it kind of sort of picks it up that way. But I tried that and it didn't work. I just did it with the national insurance numbers and they worked. So, I mean, look, you can try, but what they mean, we got to wait to see. To see how that's going to pan out with our birth certificates. Make sure everyone, you know, registered with the common law here in the UK.
Well, like I said, Charlie Ward said to me earlier that the UK corporation is now done. Yeah. It's closed. That means that all the police and everybody are working for a bankrupt corporation, therefore illegally. And somebody in the thing in the chat said Operation Warp Speed is happening tomorrow. Trump apparently said that today. So I'm getting a very, I mean, I did this impromptu live just to have a chat because I'm feeling like this energy is like amazing. I'm like,
I know,
like whoop, whoop. You know, really, really, and it's all speeding up. And it's the 12th for the 12th today, and it's the 21st.
Yeah, the 12/12 portal.
Like exciting, really exciting time.
Yeah, it was a spontaneous show, Greg, and we were betting on President Trump winning. All the odds today, especially after the whole Texas saga. So he goes, bet on Trump, bet on Trump, bet on Trump today. And I've never done it before. And I did that. And then here we are, the three of us speaking. All spontaneity is the key to life. Yeah,
I had to do a Zoom to show Alpa how to actually place the bet. I'm not a gambling man, but 32-1, you know, let's have a piece of that.
And then he goes, shall we do a Zoom? Should we do a live Zoom? I said, do you know how to do it? No, I don't. Do you? No. Okay, let's call Greg on.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do a live one on this channel for ages. So here we are. I mean, I think Greg and I are actually booked in for Wednesday, is it? I think.
Yes, it's a nice intro for everyone. Yeah. Greg is amazing, everyone. Like, he is so good.
Yeah, Greg is. I mean, it's the first time I've met Greg, but I've been engaged.
Oh, I thought you guys met.
No, I've just been engaged with Greg's work for a while, and it's just brilliant. But I can't chat for much longer.
Yeah, neither can I. But so everyone, it was lovely. Greg, thanks for coming on board. Nice to do the first live as well. I hope everyone enjoyed that. You got up to 500 people.
Well, that's amazing. Somebody just asked which betting site. It's betfair.com. I know it works in the UK and Ireland. I don't know about anywhere else. So please don't ask me. I don't know. But the reason why Betfair has these incredible odds is because the odds are not set by the company. They're set by who's bet what on what. And the majority of people think Biden's president. So there's tons of money gone onto him, which means they've got amazing odds for Trump. And it's got to be the safest bet in history. And if we're wrong and Trump loses, we're all dead anyway. So who cares if you lose money?
Yeah, can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you. No. So look, I really appreciate you popping on, Greg. We're going to have a longer chat in the week. Yeah. Alpha, amazing. Love you to death.
Yeah.
Everybody, 500 people. Amazing. Thank you for being on.
Thank you, everybody.
See you now.
Have a great evening further.